What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome into the show. Welcome on in each and every one of you Phyrexians out there, all of you dinosaurs and pirates. I welcome you all to the show. We know I do not discriminate here. I just want to have a good mana base and a good following. You know, I'm the Elish Norn of this podcast, and I want all of you to do my bidding, as you should. I am in control. I am your host with the most, your Don John DeMarco, your Goku or Go Home. And I'm the host of the show. The show is called Hunt the Week. It's a weekly Magic the Gathering podcast about the Sealed Arena Gauntlet League that we all love and play in. And this is week 2, March of the Machines. And this is a great set, man. This set is awesome. I am loving this set. It's the best set they've made since I don't know when. Before Brothers War, I'll tell you that. But I'm doing these drafts, and I just love what's going on. This set's a lot of fun. There's a lot of power. There's a lot of different things you can do. I don't think anyone's shoehorned into one thing or another. It's just a great time. And we're going to talk all about it here in our next segment. So please join me as we prepare for battle.
The battle begins!
That's right, the battle has begun. The siege is upon us. And as I record, this is your March of Machines top 8. Caleb G, 5-0, why not? Boasting a 58% OMW. Woo! Caleb, save some for the rest of us. Pierre Mark, 5-0, boasting a 34% OMW. Gotta pick that up, Pierre. Curtis K, Oblivion, 4-1. Noah B, Cisco, 4-1. Mitchell S, Spaghetti Mitch. Hey, Mitchell S is in here. Spaghetti Mitch, 4-1. Jeremy E, Lorgoy, 4-1. Thaddeus G, uncapitalized, 4-1. And Drake M, Komodo, 4-1. I love seeing new players in the top 8. They're coming in from out of the blue, out in the mist, and they are walking up and showing us how it is done. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. This week we're talking strategy, and I had 3 different strategies before I got my first pack. So I'm going to take you through my thought process on that. I'm going to talk about what I think you should be doing going forward, and I'm just going to boast about how great my deck is at the moment because I really love this deck that I have. So originally, I came into this league and I was thinking Strixhaven all the way. I'm a big Strixhaven fan. I talk about it a lot. Rookie of the league, Strixhaven. I've tried to relive that league a couple times by just going all Strixhaven. And if you're going Strixhaven, that's what you need to do, right? You need to commit in week 1 because I don't know how long it's going to stick around, and you need as many packs as possible for Strixhaven to really work. That's what I've learned about Strixhaven. You need to hit your environmental sciences. You need your wish board of learn lessons, and then it all starts clicking and humming and working. So going in, I'm thinking I'm Strixhaven all the way. I can't wait. I love Strix. It's been a while since we've had one of these pick any pack you want sets, and then I just want to play Strixhaven. One of my favorite sets. And then I get my pool, and my pool says no. My pool says don't play Strixhaven. I open the same rare twice, which is a 1 in a black, 2-drop, 2/2. That gives all my Phyrexians +1/+1 and Menace when it ETBs. So I see that card, I have 2 of them. Like, well, I've got this Phyrexian Lord. I've got 2 of them. I kind of need to go deep on Phyrexians. This card's going to be really good in that deck, right? But hey, no Phyrexians on Strixhaven, at least not at that time. Maybe they're there now in continuity and lore and Vorthos. But at the time, no Phyrexians on Strixhaven. So then I think, well, I probably got to go all 1. If I'm trying to just go for Phyrexians, right? Like, I'll be that guy. I didn't like one. I didn't like playing one. I'm not a fan. But I'm a Spike, and if I'm going to win, maybe I got to play some 1, right? And then those packs they're all Phyrexians. And guess what? If all those tokens, those 1/1 tokens get +1/+1 and Menace, we're closing out games, right? But I see a couple packs being opened during the week. Some 1 packs. Mostly War of the Spark and Ikoria this week, but I see some 1 packs get opened, and I'm just not excited by them. They don't spark joy, right? They're not what I want. And so I just say to myself, you know what? I'm going mom. I'm just going to open up my mom packs early. I'm off the Strixhaven plan. I'm off the one plan. Maybe one will be there by the time I'm ready for it, but I just want to open mom. And that's what I did. I went 3-2 this week, and I couldn't be happier about my losses. Double rare packs, both of them. The second one gives me a Urion. I went 1-2, opened Urion, 2-0 the week. I love this. I got an 80 card Urion companion deck. I can flicker battles that draw cards. I can flicker creatures that draw cards or have counters. I got blighted burgeoning enchantments ramping me that I can flicker. It's so cool. And I'm on this companion train. And I think that this is going to be a companion league. The have and have nots. The have companions. They've got that extra starting card. And that goes a long way. I just think that's what this is going to turn out. And maybe we'll see if I'm right or wrong. I'm usually wrong. But I think weeks 4, 5, 6, going to be a lot of companion decks out there. And everybody taking War of the Spark and Ikoria right now, they might be catching up. Because these mom packs are just broken. It's hard to argue against 2 to 3 rares a pack, right, in these mom packs. And all of that, but they push you in a direction, right? I was in this, hey, I'm a Phyrexian deck. And I opened a Urion. It's like, no, I'm not Phyrexians. I'm companion. I'm 80 card companion, and we just throw everything in there. And it's also like I got 80 cards. I got so much space to work with. On this deck, I really love it. This deck is it's a thing of beauty. And of course, we got to talk about the packs. The packs that people are opening this week. What's going away? What might go away next week? As I record, it is April 27th, Thursday at about 3:15 p.m. We have opened 29 packs of War, 17 packs of Ikoria. Those are your top 2. Those 2 sets are gone. Those sets are not coming back. So hopefully you got some War and Ikoria spice. Maybe you picked up a companion in Ikoria. If not, go back to mom. You might pick one up there. Next we have Strixhaven with 8 and Dominaria United with 5, 1 with 3, Ravnica Allegiance with 3, Eldraine with 2, Bro with 2, Dom with 2, Val with 1, Guilds of Ravnica with 1, and Shadows over Innistrad with 1. I think it's crazy that Brothers War is only 2 people took a Brothers War pack. That's my pick. That was my pick for number 1 pack. I also picked War, which is up there, but man, I did not expect Ikoria, Strixhaven, 1, Eldraine above Bro, and I don't know if that trend's going to continue. I think week 2, I don't think the people that didn't take Strixhaven in week 1 are going to be going to Strixhaven in week 2. Again, it's that synergy set. I think if you went War of the Spark or Ikoria in week 1, you might be looking at Brothers War in week 2. You might be going to Mom in week 2. There's a lot of good sets out there. Eldraine's getting a lot of love. Do what you do, but have a plan, right? Like I said, I had multiple plans, and I stuck with one of them, and it worked out. So just have a plan for your league, for your deck, for your week, and follow that plan, and hopefully it'll get you where you want to go. What sets do I think will be the most taken this week? Dominaria United and Brothers War. Those are my picks for the 2 sets that get picked the most. I just think they're very strong sets. This is kind of a slow, greedy format. Like I think this is a 3 to 4, 3 to 5 color format. So I think Dominaria United is actually going to do really well here with all that domain. And we'll see what happens because who knows? We've had 99 mom packs opened and 74 non-mom packs open as I record. But I don't record everything today. In fact, I only record a small chunk of the show on Thursdays. It's the intro, it's this segment, it's the outro, right? The part that I don't record, that's coming up next. And that part I recorded on Monday with our Shadows over Innistrad League winner. So please join me as I call for backup.
Called for backup.
That's right. This week I call for backup with our champ, the 2-time 3-week league winner. This guy wins short leagues. It's what he does. And I was lucky enough to commentate on these games in this draft. It was a lot of fun. Those YouTube videos are up. Please watch my commentating of the Jordan's draft. Tell me how wrong I am. Watch my commentating on the games and tell me you described the cards wrong, because I did that a couple of times too. It's not super easy. And normally it's done by Richard and Pigeon. Justin P. couldn't do it this time. They were both in the Megadraft. So Chris York and myself, we stepped up. recorded all that good stuff, had a fun time, and it was won by none other than Richard K, aka Preacher 26. And I was happy enough to sit down and talk to Richard a little bit about Shadows League, Mom League, Magic in general. So please join me as I play that interview now. All right, everyone, join me as I call for backup this week with none other than Richard K. Preacher. Welcome to the show, Richard.
Well, thanks for having me. Happy to be back here.
Hey, you did what you had to do. You got your wins. You made it through Sir League and the Mega Draft. Got the league win. Come on the show. Hey, look at that.
I'm happy to do it.
I'm sure you are happy to do it. I bet it was your pleasure to dole out losses along the way. And I want to start there with Sir League.
Sure.
You know, how was your league? And how was your Mega Draft? Was there anything particular about that? But let's start with the league deck.
Yeah, the league was exactly how I like it, 3 weeks long. That works for me. Because in the past, like honestly, I've had a good first 3 weeks a lot of times, like 9 wins, 10 wins, I think maybe a couple times 11 wins, and then it tumbles down. So I like the 3 week league. My starting pool was just basically a bunch of white and red rares, so I just threw it together. I threw in a couple of wretched Griffs to make playables, and then by my first loss, they were gone, and I was just playing Boros the whole rest of the way. Double Thraben Inspector in my starting pool, and then a third one in my first pack. So I was happy with my deck. It was an aggro deck, which is not usually what I would like to do in League, but it worked. I had some good rares. I had 2 Hanweir Garrison, had Thalia, Collective Effort, a couple others. So
a lot
worked
of
out.
Aggressive rares too to help with that Boros deck, like Hanweir Garrison. Ooh, that's pushing damage. That's pushing damage.
Yeah, and I even had 3 of the Sigardan Priest, the tappers. So those were really important too.
And excuse me if I'm wrong here, but I want to say that your week 1, you didn't start out amazing. You kind of had a good comeback in weeks 2 and 3 to make that top 8. If I'm not incorrect, right? I think you went on kind of a streak there.
Yeah, I started out 2 and 3, and then I won all but one of the last the final 10. So 5-0 in the second week, and then 4-1. I lost to Evan. His deck was just unbelievable, but yeah, it was and I had to go through a lineup of Titans in the past at the end there. I think like I faced Maxime, Sawyer, Johnny, Jordan, Daniel G. Just was able to get wins over all of them. So I was thankful to make my way into the top 8 for the first time in a little while.
So not only are you going, 9-1 in the last 10 games, but you're beating the heavy hitters of the league. I know I saw you and Johnny always play your, knockout round together, and I saw that you beat him, and I was like, oh man, Richard's going on a streak. And next thing I knew, you were in top 8, and you had clinched a spot. You just kind of kept on going and kept on trucking till you had your Mega Draft all lined up.
Yeah, it was honestly, the way I like it is to basically, I'm not one to tinker and rebuild well or with a lot of patience. So I was happy I just got to sort of take my starting pool and run with it, and it worked. And we got there.
You got there. You got all the way to the Mega Draft. You're no stranger to the Mega Draft. You've done a few.
Yeah.
So coming in, this is a kind of a different Mega Draft. This is all Innistrad. Did you have any ideas going into it? Like, oh, I really want to try and be this color or avoid this thing, or did you have any strategy at all?
I mean, there's a few cross-set synergies, but in a lot of these drafts, this is not that different from our usual Mega Drafts. I mean, the sets have some thematic connections, but honestly, I was just trying to take the best card, and I wasn't looking out for like creature type synergies or anything like that, which I know is a part of some of the decks.
No, you ended up with a really nice Dimir, control-y spells deck. You got some nice removal in there, a lot of nice flyers, so many flyers in that deck to help you get it through. Your Cruel Witnesses, and it's just ways to push damage. And I saw you in the finals against Damien, and the deck was looking pretty good.
Yeah, basically as I was drafting, I was figuring out, okay, I'm like blue was very open. I got enough black to be my secondary color. I wouldn't really call it a control deck. It was really more of a flying deck. It had a little bit of card draw, a couple of removals, but really try and get on board with flyers and keep the advantage going. That was kind of the goal of the deck. And like blue black was a zombies deck. I had one card that cared about zombies in my deck, which was the rare Champion of the Perished. And I don't think it's a coincidence is that there like a couple of like a lot of the tribes didn't really get represented in this draft. Like there was no humans deck, there was no werewolves deck, there was no zombies deck. There was a pseudo spirit deck, and there was one dedicated vampires deck, but the rest of them were just kind of good stuff or aggro decks.
And the vampire deck was only the true tribal deck, because that thing
Yeah,
was like almost all vampires. Evan
yeah,
did a great job.
that was a scary one.
Yeah, Evan's deck looked real nasty. And oh, did you end up avoiding that? Did you have to play through Evan to get there in the finals?
Yeah, I played him in the second round, so you know, I'll give credit to myself for a lot of what happened, but also you do need to have some good breaks along the way. So in round one, in game three, my opponent mulliganed to 5, and in game two, my opponent mulliganed to 5. In round two, he mulliganed in game three. So both game threes, my opponent mulliganed to 5 in round one and round two. So you know, I got a little bit of help along the way. I will say that.
We'll take those, as Tony
Yeah,
G says. You know?
gotta.
And then you play against Damien, good friend of yours, I'm sure. You've known Damien from the in-person leagues.
Yeah.
You guys go way back, so I'm sure that was pretty fun playing against Damien in the finals, who was trying to get his first Mega Draft win, but oh no, Richard K. Koffler is here to stop you and take home his second 3-week league win.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled it out. His deck was a wrap deck, but it didn't really in the first game. Well, you know, that was the only actual game where I had like an unfunctional hand there, got stuck at 2. And the other games, my deck kind of just executed its game plan exactly what it was trying to do.
Yeah,
Get some creatures on early, get a little bit of interaction, and get the flying damage through.
And you had some nice card draw in that deck too. I mean, you were drawing cards, get nice board presence, and then you just go for the card advantage. Put Damien under the table. You get the league win.
Yeah.
And hey, it's an Innistrad set, so it's kind of a cool throwback set. I know this is a set you liked going in, so that's gotta feel good too, winning a set that you like to play and a set that you're fond of.
Yeah, I have good memories of the set. I don't think it was like an all-time set or anything. But it was during a time where I was like drafting a lot, 4 to 5 times a week at the store. I think I also downloaded Magic Online like around the time that this set was out. So I was drafting a lot. So I knew the cards quite well. And so it brought back good memories. And it kind of brings me back to a simpler time in limited Magic where the games could go a little longer, the cards were a little less efficient, but still good. Like, we're not playing bad cards here, but it just a little less powered, a little more gameplay, things going on.
Yeah, it's the kind of Magic that I miss and the kind of Magic I like, right? It's a little bit, you get to make a little bit more comeback, maybe a little bit more thoughtful play sometimes, and some good old fashioned back and forth between you and your opponent.
But yeah, I found that the last few years they just powered up the set so much for limited that it's like everything's just a better version of what we had now. Like if you look at the cards in Shadows over Innistrad versus the cards that we have now, it's like you can't even compare them. But it was fun to play. I enjoyed it.
And that's actually that's a concern I've been having, is that the limited, as a limited player, right? These limited sets have been just off the wall for Dominaria United. Well, it was pretty good, but very strong power level. Brothers War, that bonus sheet, very strong. And then we had one, which was so fast and so aggressive. And now we have got Mom, and I think Mom is I am loving Mom from a limited perspective. This set has been just what I needed to kind of get limited Magic back into me anyway, from my perspective, because I'm loving it. Are you liking Mom? I know you're out there doing drafts.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I haven't quite caught, like, it hasn't quite all clicked yet. Like my record hasn't been amazing out in the best of 3 Qs. It's not a losing record, but it's not all quite clicked yet. But I've been enjoying it. It's interesting. I mean, once again, very powerful, but that's to be expected nowadays. And I like the set. I think it's there's a lot you could do. There's a lot to uncover. I think it's a format that can age well, unlike something like one.
Oh yeah, I don't see us ever talking about one ever again, unless it's just say, oh man, thank God this isn't one league.
Yeah, I don't think we're doing a one flashback league or anything.
Oh, I hope not. Please, league committee, don't put that on the table.
Yeah.
So Mom League, how has your Mom League been going? We're here wrapping up week 1. Yeah, how you doing? What are you opening? Are you sticking with Mom? You going off book? How's that going?
Yeah, I've only played 2 matches so far. I won them both, so I haven't had to make a choice yet. But I think I just want to stick with the base set until I have to choose something else, because I think that's just going to be the strongest option for me. Or I think for a lot of people, but it's enticing to open those other sets. I've done it before, and it was always wrong. It was almost always wrong to open those other sets, even though it's the fun thing to do. So right now I'm going to stick with March of Machines. Then when it comes time to get my sixth pack, I'll figure out what's going to be best for my deck, because by then I'll have a good idea of what my deck is, and I could choose a set based on what that offers at common for what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and you're going to have your choice of set as long as it's not any of the ones that are being taken. Right now, it is War of the Spark and Ikoria have been the top two chosen packs this week, which frankly, kind of a surprise to me. I had Brothers War pegged as the number one set, and it, as we record, I think only one person has taken it. Everyone's going War of the Spark. War of the Spark is hot.
I love War of the Spark as a set, but I don't know if I would choose it here. It was a powerful draft format within itself. I don't know, aside unless you get a bomb planeswalker, I don't know how good the cards work in conjunction with others. But people have been opening some pretty sweet stuff from both of those sets I've seen.
Oh yeah, I saw Chris York start with Liliana and then open a Vivian right away, and I was like, wow.
That was me that gave him the Vivian there.
Yeah, what a lucky guy. Start with two extremely strong planeswalkers out of two very strong sets. I think Steve said it best though, because he was trying to explain to someone why so many people were taking War of the Spark, and he thinks it's a FOMO, right? Once you see it's the most taken pack, you have to take it this week if you want to get a chance at it at all. So you're kind of forced into taking it. If you liked it, because it's going to be gone. I think it's very interesting to see what packs people are taking, because some people are going real crazy. I've seen Guilds of Ravnica pack go, but some people, a lot of people, a lot of Mom, a lot of War, and then Ikoria has been picking it up. People like those companions.
Yeah, Ikoria is strong. Cycling is a good mechanic. There's fixing. It's a nice one. But like I said, I think I'm going to stick with March of Machines for the first 5. I'm going to stick to my guns. And after that, I'll assess out of the remaining sets what offers me something at common. Because to open a set, to open a pack to try and aim for uncommons and rares, that's just, it doesn't work, I don't think. I'm aiming for what can I pick up at common, right?
Yeah, right. It's tough. It's tough to try and spike. Before we recorded, I was talking to you about maybe trying to pick up Cloudblazer, right? Which is a fun thing to think about. But it's not a good strategy, right? To even try and be I'm going to open what's the 1 and a 3 black, when a creature dies, you draw a card in the Innistrad sets. That's always been very strong.
The Morbid Opportunist?
Morbid Opportunist, yes. Yeah. If you can spike that card, it's a fantastic card, right? But do you want to waste a couple packs just trying to get something like that? Probably not.
Yeah, I would never open a set looking for individual cards. I would be looking at the colors and what they offer at common once I know what colors I'm wanting to play. I could even go to the bot lab and open a pack and just say, if I only got these 10 commons, ignore the rare and uncommons, would I be happy with just these 10 commons? Just literally just look at the commons and see, would that be something that would work for me? And then if you get a cool uncommon or a rare, it's like a bonus,
Yeah, of course. And then you get that foil rare or uncommon that's good. That's a good time hitting that foil.
Yeah, you just open March of the Machine packs and get 3 or 4 rares every pack. I think my starting pool had 3 mythics and 9 regular rares. So
yeah, I was the opposite. Where I only had 6 rares. But in my 2 losses, 2 rares in both packs. I'm back up to 10 rares. I'm getting there.
There you go.
It's working out.
Life is good.
So right now, as I record, there's been 22 packs of War of the Spark, 14 packs of Ikoria opened.
Wow.
The next 2 is 7 Strixhaven and 5 Dominaria United. Do you think Strixhaven and Dominaria will continue and be the 2 packs gone next week? Or do you think, maybe if people didn't start in Strixhaven, they don't care about the synergy, they're going to go somewhere else off plane, and we're going to see one of these a Bro, a Vow, and Eldraine kind of pick it up and be gone?
Yeah, I've said this before. I really think that Strixhaven, while powerful, doesn't play well with others. Learn Lesson is its own thing. Yeah. Some sets care about instants or sorceries. This set, March of the Machines, literally does not. Maybe there's 2 or 3 cards in the set that care about casting instants or sorceries. There's some prowess creatures, I guess. Yeah. But I guess the appeal's there too because of the multiple rares, the mystical archives. Dominaria United I could see just because there's fixing and you get all these powerful kicker cards, the off-color kickers. Yeah, I could see Dominaria United as continuing. Strixhaven, probably people will jump on it. I don't think I would be that interested. It also leaves you less options for colors too.
Yeah, Strixhaven. I think you need to go. You need to really commit to Strixhaven for Strixhaven to be good for your deck. Like you need to go as many packs as you can and really get that learn lesson package, that like toolbox in your sideboard.
Yeah. Well, like imagine if you open 3 or 4 packs of Strixhaven and then you're trying to rebuild your pool and you're figuring out that your best rares and your deepest colors are like red and green, Gruul, which is just not supported in that set at all. So like all those gold cards that you get at common and uncommon in Strixhaven, they're just sort of, you're sort of forced to play those colors kind of just because it excludes 5 color combinations from the set. So it narrows your options, I think, actually taking a set like that.
And with Dominaria United, I've noticed, and I don't know if this is going to be a trend, but I'm noticing, this is kind of a 3 to 4 color format so far, at least in League. People are doing these big splashes, and there's some decent fixing going around. So going for a domain deck could not be the worst thing to do, because I'm playing 4 colors. Is it the right thing to do? I don't know, but I'm basically there already, so why not?
Yeah, I do like DMU. The domain decks popped off because the dual lands at common had those types. Where here we do have dual lands at common in March of the Machines, but they don't have the types. So
Yeah.
you don't. It's harder to get the domain. But yeah, I could see it. This set is a set that encourages splashes, even though I always try and keep them to a minimum in my league decks if I can.
Oh yeah, you're a very
I try.
reserved player. That's what I know about you, Richard. Yeah. You don't keep bad hands. You don't build bad decks. You keep it tight, is how I'm going to say it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I feel like I don't take the big swings, which means I can't get the big hits. But I play it safe a lot of the time with my deck building, which sometimes helps me, sometimes holds me back. But it all comes with the territory.
It's hard to say it holds you back when you're a 2-time league winner, Richard, and then you're doing it in the age of Jordans. So come on, we got to give you all the credit we can too. Back to back 3-week league wins. It's impressive.
Yeah, I think like I said before, I think the length of the league works in my favor. Like honestly, like the growth of our league and just the astounding quality of the players that are coming into our league has shaken my confidence a bit over the past couple of years. Honestly, like it's been a long time since I've actually even been close to making top 8 in one of the 6-week leagues, and I think I kind of ended up figuring out that that sealed is just like not my favorite thing to do. It's like I don't want to retinker my deck. I don't want to rebuild every couple losses. I kind of just want to open a nice pool and stick with it.
Yeah.
And a 6-week league, it's really hard to do that. I'm a drafter at heart. Like, if I only have a certain amount of hours to spend playing Arena in a week, most of it is going to be spent drafting. And I'll play my league matches, and I'll kind of just rebuild at the end of the week a lot of the time, or after if I take 3 losses or something. But yeah, so as far as making it the whole 6 weeks, I feel I don't have the sealed stamina to get through it all like others have. So the 3-week league suits me very well, it seems.
And what a good segue as we go to questions from the league. We'll start with Caleb's question. What do you attribute your domination of the 3-week league? So, like you say, it's you kind of fall off on 6-week leagues, but there's got to be something about a 3-week league, because if you win 2 back-to-back, I mean, you've got some juice in there that is just working for you.
Yeah, well, first thing I'll say is I'm honestly, like, I draft a lot. I'm confident as a drafter. So going into those mega drafts, I feel like I have like a fair shot against everybody. Like, where in a 6-week league, I feel like, the really elite players, they're just going to outpace me by week 4, 5, and 6. But in a draft, I feel, you sit down, everyone's on an even playing field, and I can get the win. And also, both of these leagues were flashback formats that I played a lot of. So I already knew, I had a deep familiarity with all the cards. Like from playing with them in the past, so there was a level of comfort there with the archetypes and the cards and the synergies. So it didn't have to be part of the discovery. I knew the cards, I got to build the deck, I knew what I wanted to do, and got to do it.
Yeah, so if we have another 3-week flashback league, everybody watch out. Richard's gonna have to be like 80% to win that thing just off the bat.
Oh yeah, you got to hold me back.
This question comes from Steve. Now, you're a notable Cloud Blazer fan. You know,
Right.
we
Wow.
creator of the
Number one
Cloud
fan.
Blazer Index.
Yeah.
Big supporter of it, by the way. I love every time it comes up.
It's not really a great way of measuring how good a card is, but it's still fun.
It's a great way of measuring how much a card is like Cloud Blazer. So
Exactly. Yeah. Like Lightning Bolt, one of the best cards of all time. Like straight 0 out of 5. But
oh yeah, no, not even close to making the cut there. Steve wants to know if you had to change one aspect of Cloud Blazer, what would it be?
First of all, don't mess with perfection. But I did think about this, and I will say, Cloud Blazer has a very obscure creature type that's not very well supported in Magic. In fact, the creature type of Scout, it's a human Scout, has received there's not a single card in the game of Magic that cares about having a Scout in play. So I think if I were going to change one thing, it gains life. It's a white card. You can make it a cleric. I think be a human cleric, and then it could go. Put it in your cleric deck and get paid off for that. So that would be my change, I think.
I like it. Yeah, give it some tribal synergy other than just being a human, I guess.
Yeah.
Johnny would like to know. I know you and Johnny go way back. You guys always have the death matches. What's the current record right now for death matches? Who's winning that?
Yeah. Well, it's not quite a death match in the sense that at least one of the players is at 10 losses. So, so we've done 16 of these. I won 9 out of the 16.
Oh wow, that's great.
So I'm up by 2 presently.
Johnny would like to know overall, how did you find Shadows over Innistrad Remastered? I think he's talking about the set, not the league here, because like you said, you played a lot of the set when it came out. The original Shadows. You saw how it changed. How do you think they did with Shadows Remastered from your point of view?
Yeah, well, first of all, and I think this was sort of universally stated as a draft format, to have a different set of cards, like just get sprinkled in each week, was really fun. Change the landscape just enough, but not like completely change the format. So that was really, really nice. And I do like how they adjusted some of the cards to sort of match up with where they might be today as far as rarity. So like a bunch of rares got put at uncommon, a bunch of uncommons got put at common. And I think it actually worked in favor of the format that we got, like Bound by Moonsilver, which is just like a basically normal pacifism with a little, a couple things to it. But it's like today that would be an uncommon always, or it would be a common, rather than an uncommon. So I like that, like something like Briarbridge Patrol, like the green 4-drop showing up at common, like just like these cards that feel like they would be common today. So I do like how they adjusted some of that a nice amount. So that was a nice little change. It was not the same format from before, but it was a nice adaptation of it, I would say.
Imprisoned of the Moon from rare down to common still blows my mind, because I still have my pre-release promo foil rare in the package. I didn't open it. I didn't use it. It's not a great card, but I've got the rare, and now it's a common. I still can't get over it.
Back in the day, that card was cool. Well, first of all, it was a story card, so that was one of the reasons why it was a rare, because it was like the big event of the entire set. And also, it was an effect that we hadn't really seen before. Like, this was the first time we had a blue aura that took away abilities from something. Now, we seem to get it all the time. But it was kind of like groundbreaking at the time. So for that, and for the fact that it was like the story, the center of the whole story, they put it at rare. But yeah, putting it to common makes complete sense.
I remember
as strange as it is.
You're right. It's a product of its time, because I remember even back then it's like it's blue removal. Can you believe they printed blue creature removal? It's crazy.
Well, we played that. We played it happily, and now I see it in a pack, and I'm like, maybe as my 23rd card. Yeah, it is jarring to see it at common.
So I almost like it when my opponent plays it against me. It's like, oh, cool, I got that extra mana I needed. Great, awesome. Here we go.
Yeah.
Maxime would like to know, what were some of your favorite draft sets other than cons? We know you're a big cons fan.
Yeah, triple cons of Tarkir was the best, but I think the second, and I've been drafting since about the original Theros block. So, sets before that I don't have any reference for, but I would have to say it's War of the Spark for me. That was just such a fun draft format, and they really took a big swing with that set, design wise, and I did enjoy that.
Yeah, the Planeswalker every pack was fun. The Proliferate was great, and you had lots of removal. That really was a really fun set, and a nice culmination to the end of the storyline of Volus and Ugin and everything that had been happening. That was a really, really fun set.
Yeah, and that format just clicked with me. Like I was saying, March of Machines hasn't all quite clicked yet. Like that said, I understood it, I got it, I was enjoying it. The cards were fun, and yeah, it was great. I think Throne of Eldraine would get an honorable mention as a great draft set,
Yeah, that's
and
a good one.
probably Modern Horizons, the first one, not the second one, but Modern Horizons one. I did play quite a bit of, so those would probably be my short list of next best draft formats that I've played.
I wish we could get one of those Modern Horizon sets on Arena and in League. Oh, those sets are so fun. Like those are some great
Yeah,
drafts.
yeah, they put a lot of Modern Horizons cards in the Jumpstart product from a couple of years back, but it's not really,
It's
you
not
know,
the same.
there
Yeah.
was no format to really play it in.
Oh.
So they just dumped the cards on Arena, so they're there, but we never got to have a league with them because there was not much to be done.
But don't tell that to Chris York. You know he's been brewing Jumpstart League for like 2 years. One day he's gonna crack it.
Well, look, it took
Jumpstart
them
League.
how many years to figure out Plane Chase League? So maybe in 5 years, the Jumpstart League will be the greatest thing we've ever seen.
Hey, Plane Chase League
I
was
have
a hit.
faith.
You know,
Absolutely.
if it's as good as Plane Chase League, take your time, Mr. York. Please, you
Exactly.
polish that thing.
He's allowed to have one good idea every 5-6 years, like completely.
Jeremy would like to know what are your top three, if you have three, or just top couple feature match moments that you've called from the broadcasting chair.
Yeah, there's three that I could distinctly remember, in no particular order. But first one was the DMU League. It was a feature match. It was between Christopher G, Oompa Loompa, and Oscar T. And Oscar was he had a Shieldred in play. He had a Ren and Seven, which he opened from Innistrad. He was just dominating the board. Chris G, he was just getting drained by the shoulder. He was at about 6 life, and Oscar was at 24. And Oscar wasn't attacking him though, because Christopher actually had more creatures on board. He had he had a wide board, but he couldn't really attack or remove the Shouldred. And so I think I said, about a turn before the game came to its end, I think I was chatting, talking with Justin. I was like, I think he needs about 20 plus power of flying in the next turn or so in order to win. And then off the top, he draws this card, Bog Badger, which gives menace to all your creatures, and he's attacking for 28 menace through all of Oscar's board. So that was one. Second one is definitely from a Bro League. We had Chris H versus Tony G with the Scarab Feast. That just came out of nowhere. It was one of the in an Amonkhet pack that it exiles 3 cards from a graveyard and it has cycling. And so Chris had traded off his Steel Seraph, which is a very strong rare, and then was going to reanimate it. And then Tony nabbed that and 2 unearthed creatures with a Scarab Feast. With this
never
card
been
that
that
no
good.
one ever played.
Never been that good.
Yeah. And the last one was definitely in the top 8 of Plane Chase in the second round. Jesse versus Sawyer, where Sawyer got Jesse to 7, and then he was sacking his whole board because he had a Lampad that could sack to drain things, and he had a Cruel Celebrant, which whenever one of your creatures died, it was a drain as well. And he had exactly 7, and Jesse with 1 green mana had the card Tameo Safekeeping, which usually you cast it to give your creature Hexproof and Indestructible, but it also has the added text of you gain 2 life.
Yeah,
and he had exactly 7. Exactly. And he thought about it, because he had seen the Tameo Safekeeping in the first game. And he still went for it, and he sacked his board, and Jesse ended up at 2 life.
You got to go for it, though, right? When you see something like that, it's hard not to. But yeah, I remember, how heartbreaking. You sack your whole board, everything.
So those are fun, exciting moments. I would encourage anybody who didn't watch those to go and watch those. Those were absolutely really memorable.
And I'd like to thank you and Pigeon for doing everything you do, guys, with the feature matches. Those things are super fun. They're a great thing for the league. I try to be a part of them, when I can. And I don't get a lot of, there's not a lot of other content creators in the league, right? It's you, me, maybe Mitch. And, while I got you here, I do want to say thank you from the league for doing what you do. I know it takes up a lot of time, and you do a great job. And we love, it's Monday. I'm going to be watching you tonight. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see the games.
Fun. Yeah, I like doing it, and I'll give a shout out and a big thanks to Evan, because he was the original broadcaster. He was the one who came up with the idea to do coverage of a top 8. And he took a step back from league for a little bit, as you discussed with him. And I sort of ran with it. I picked it up. I did a few top 8s, and then I said, why don't we do more coverage? Why don't we do more games? Why don't we have games every week? We'll do a set time. We'll have games every week, and it's worked. People like it, and I've continued on with it, and I've enjoyed it. So it's like, my contribution to the community, right? Like, this community works on everybody, contributing something. So that's my piece.
And we're lucky to have it, Richard. We are. The special league, it's not just commentary, right? Because you back it up with your play winning a league. So watch this guy commentate. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing.
Well, I mean, we had 2 league winners commentating yesterday as well. So
no, hey,
that was well done. Look out for those videos.
I did get to try my first shot at commentating. It was it was fun. I had a good time. I enjoyed it. Before I let you go, Richard, I would love to know, do you have a favorite Kofflerism from Mom to share with the league?
Oh, there's one. I think this set actually has the filthiest one I've come across yet, and I don't even feel comfortable saying it. I'll say the proper name of the card is Completed Hunt Master, and I won't say anything else.
All right, look up that card. Look at the name and just think about it for a minute.
It's one of the few ones I don't actually feel comfortable saying the Kofflerized version. So we'll just put a pin in that one.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, Richard. Congratulations on your Megadraft win and 2-0 in Mom, undefeated as we record. Let's keep that going, and maybe you could be our second back-to-back Megadraft league winner.
You never know. Do we have time for a York story? Or
we got time. We got 5 minutes. If you can tell it in 5 minutes, you're going.
Perfect. Yeah, so this one, a lot of the players from the store know it as the retraction helix story. So we were playing, it was a master set, Masters 25, and there was a card, it was originally in Theros block, called Retraction Helix, which is a blue instant, and it basically, you target your own creature and you can tap it to bounce something. So it's basically like a bounce spell, but it would trigger heroic, which was a thing in the set.
Yeah.
So you tap your creature and and you bounce something. So it's like an unsummon. And so we were playing a game and the store. It was in the early turns. I had a 2/2 and I think some other creature. And Chris York had a 1/3, and he had just played a 3/1 flyer, which I was wanting to kill. I wanted to kill his 3/1 flyer, so I cast a fight spell that gave +1/+2 and fought. So I targeted my 2/2, so it would become a 3/4 and kill his flyer.
Yep. So
normally you would cast the Retraction Helix on he would cast Retraction Helix on his 1/3, because that did not have Summoning Sickness. The 3/1 had just come into play, and he would tap his 1/3 and he would bounce my creature, and I would get blown out. Right, I have to recast my creature. I don't get to attack. His creature lives.
Yeah, you lose your spell.
Yeah, so instead he casts Retraction Helix on the 1/3, and he taps it, and instead returns his own flyer back to his own hand, so it doesn't get fought to death. But I'm left with a 3/4 and another creature that can attack, and his only other creature is tapped, and his 3/1 flyer is back in his hand, and he has to cast it. I think within moments he realized this was not the way the card was meant to be cast, but I've held that over him. I remember we did a Secret Santa draft one time, which is a draft where basically we assemble our own packs. And as a joke, I think I made a pack of 15 Retraction Helixes. And I offered to sign one for him.
Yeah, Retraction Helix, it can be played defensively, but oh boy, does that not
yeah, it didn't quite make sense there. They got to attack him for 4 or 5, and he had bounced one of his creatures and tapped his only other one. So I had to get that out to the masses, you know.
Chris York,
I've been keeping that one tucked away for way too long.
Chris York's gonna have nightmares tonight, knowing that everyone in the league is gonna be hearing that story and putting up Retraction Helixes and chats with his name tag. Please do that. Let him know that you know the Retraction Helix story.
All right, and if I'm back on here again, maybe we'll dive deeper into the pantheon of York.
Oh, I love it. I love being able to get history from all these guys that know each other. It's so fun. So yeah, hopefully come back on it and we'll get some more. And again, I can't wait to watch your matches tonight, and good luck the rest of the league, Richard.
Yeah, thank you very much. and thanks for having me. Thanks for everything you do. It's awesome. Honestly, I do look forward to listening every week.
Oh, thanks. Shucks. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one, Richard.
Yeah.
I love talking to Richard. Richard has a great sense of humor. He's also insanely knowledgeable at Magic. I think it's a great thing he does on Mondays with his feature night games. Richard's the kind of guy that will be doing some kind of flashback draft to Amonkhet, and he'll just know every card off the top of his head and what they do. And I don't know how he does it, but man, that guy has a memory for days. He knows so much about Magic. And that's something you need in this league, right? Because it's not just knowing the mom set and knowing all the mom combat tricks and removal spells that you have to play around. Because we're not just playing mom, right? We're playing Ikoria. Do you know all the Ikoria combat tricks? Do you know all the War of the Spark flash / instant spells? Are you ready for that? Because I'm not, but I bet Richard thinks a little bit more about that than you and I do. And I am trying to do a thing this league where I ask every guest what their backup mechanic would be. I forgot to ask Richard, but he did answer it on the server, so I'm just going to read it now. Richard's backup mechanic would be 3 white, blue, backup 2, flying. When this creature deals combat damage to a player or battle, draw a card and gain 1 life. It's a 1/1. And guess what? It's basically a Cloud Blazer. On the Cloud Blazer scale, it's a 4. Right? It's a 4 on the Cloud Blazer scale, so I guess it's pretty close. It's just missing being a 2/2, but you can't make that thing a 2/2 with backup 2. It's a 4/4 I know. I mean, power creep, yeah, sure, but come on. And my backup mechanic for myself was, as long as this creature is tapped, you may cast permanent spells as though they had flash. So that's me. I live my life on my opponent's end step. I love flash cards. I love playing at instant speed, so that's what my backup creature does. It allows me to play anything I want. Except for lands, of course, at instant speed. And creature's got to be tapped, and I didn't do a mana cost. It's probably like a 5 mana 1/1 to do something like that. But I love it. I love casting at instant speed. And I hope you're loving Mom League, because this is really a fun one. There's so much different stuff going on. Whether you're staying in Mom or going off plane, I hope you're having a good time building a fun deck. Check out the feature matches on Monday. Richard, Pigeon, they do a fantastic job. Get in Mitch's Spaghetti series on Thursdays. Get in Cody's super secret special server, right? We do deck building in there, and I'm yelling at everyone to companion their companions. Because, again, I think this is Companion League, and I think if you got one, even if you're not companioning it now, I think you will be as the league goes on, because it's so hard to say no to just 1 extra card right there out of reach, and you pay 3 mana, and now you got some big old bomb that's going to do some work. As we close out week 1 and get ready for week 2, I wish you the best of luck out there. I hope that you get to keep a good 7 and that the shuffler is in your favor. Because with those 2 things, it'll take you a long way. All you got to do after that is just play well, right? Just play well. Don't make mistakes. And I'm trying to not make mistakes this week. I like my deck. This could be a top 8 deck. I just need to slow down my plays and think about what I am doing. Because there's a lot going on and there's a lot of interaction. There's Convoke. They're tapped out on mana. It doesn't mean that they're tapped out, right? There's a lot that goes into these games, a lot that goes into these decks. And I can't wait to see where they go. Oh, watch Cody. Cody's doing some real fun stip matches. He did the Battle of the Battles last week where him and his opponent, I think it was Jaden, whoever, you had to play every battle, and the first person to beat 4 battles won the game. So it was an alternate win con. Super cool. I think he's got more planned. Try to check those out. They're doing some fun, different things. And you want to be a part of it, right? Because that's why it's there for. If you're not a part of it, you're missing out. Jump in the channels. Jump in the chat. Say hello. And I'll see you all here next week as we wrap up week 2 of March of the Machines. Bye, everybody.